We're live.
We are live. The firecrackers are not blaring again. What a show, Zen. Did you enjoy it Saturday night? Or
Oh yeah,
was it Saturday?
of course. We had all sorts of shows all around the
It
place.
almost looked as if the city had put it on itself from some of the videos I saw.
Oh yeah.
Can everyone hear us? Are we having a problem with the volume?
No, everything's good.
All right, so we got a show today that's a little discombobulated for last minute stuff, but Dallas is getting his vagina checked at the gynecologist. So we're going to see how that pregnancy turns out.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy stuff going on. We'll start with our show sponsors, Prestige Automall, Excellent Pizza, Johnny's Crossroad Wine and Spirits. Go see Johnny. You getting some feedback?
I am just a little bit though.
All right, so
It'll be all right.
no big deal. Yeah, nobody really cares. Reform, shift, and build. We're going to unpolice the police. I haven't had a chance to see who voted for this. Do you know who has voted for it? I saw Michael Rodrigues out of Westport was making a speech about it today, and I just think that the criminals are getting too many breaks here.
Yeah. Well, one thing that stood out to me in the whole bill that was passed was the fact that people now have the right to intervene in police duties.
Right?
It's like
Yeah.
what are you
Which
talking
is
about?
how 9 out of 10 fatalities happen is when they raise the climate, raise the excitement levels. There's yelling, there's screaming, there's people sticking cameras in your face. We saw what happened in Miami
Of course.
with that one Hispanic police officer, female. She had some balls. You know, she was towing the line.
Oh yeah.
And then there was the guy, arrest me, I dare you, arrest me, and he got maced in the face and then taken down.
It's crazy. People are getting nuts, and now they're getting a free pass to do so, which is like beyond me.
Yeah.
But
We got more depression. I'm just going to hit some topics. We have Mia Coogan coming in today, also the director of Stepping Stone, Laura Ferrero Washington. I don't know if they're here for an intervention to get me into rehab or something. I hope not. So if they try that, Eric outside, if they try to do an intervention on me today, please do not allow them into the studio. I'm not ready yet. I'll quit tomorrow. That's the old saying. Epstein and Maxwell. Well, Epstein's done. He's dead.
yeah, but Maxwell, that's a pretty promising prospect right there.
She's got to be leaking information right now. Now, I'm not sure the process is, but we'll get into that. We got Larry's going to call us in and talk about Black Lives Matter and the Antifa people. We saw a little thump in the road out there, out west. We already got David Mead calling. David, hold on, buddy.
Hold on, David.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing, Jeff?
What's up, David? I said I was going to call you after.
Yeah, well, no, are you on live?
We're actually live. We just got started. We're just doing the rundown of the beginning of the show. Then we're going to have the mayor on, Laura Washington, for 10 or 15 minutes.
The reason why, because my leg is really bothering me, you know, because I had to go to primary care today, and my leg was like really swollen up, and I had to have my leg up for a little bit, and you know, it's getting a little bit better. The swellen's going down because they gave me antibiotics. Yeah, I had to wear actual face mask, like a shield over the face. I had no choice.
Yeah,
But,
I saw that. That was a very interesting picture. You looked like Art BT a little bit. But we're gonna give you a call back in a little while. All right, brother?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Give me a
Okay.
call.
All right, David Mead felt it.
David Mead.
He thought maybe I could help with the swelling, but keep that leg elevated, David.
We got to ask him what happened later. I'm interested in that story.
Yeah, it's probably he was out there holding that Trump sign. He probably got hit over the head with a stick. Trump's visit with the Mexican presidents, the Dems are calling a big distraction. Don Lemon scolding Terry Crews about what Black Lives Matter is all about. Do you know who Lori Vallow is?
Lori Vallow. No.
I don't know if that's the woman that killed her kids.
Let's see.
But I got that on the page. The Phoenix Police, they showed the body cam today of the guy who they killed with the weapon. They reached into the car, pulled the weapon out of the car, but they were all protesting that. Father-daughter fist fight, McDonald's in it's not even Fall River, unfortunately. It was Fairhaven.
Fairhaven.
So it's probably a New Bedford couple strolled out of their natural habitat.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. False rape claims. That's big. It's been big for a while now, and it just recently fired up this week over Facebook with some heavy allegations. And it's never,
Oh, yeah.
we never want to say someone's making up false claims. Well, that's a very touchy subject, but one person who, we're going to talk about that, decided that she wanted to put it all on Facebook for everyone to know about, that she was not a home wrecker, she was a rape victim. And all those text messages were posted. We can get to that. The fireworks, Antifa hit by the car. That was dynamite. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And the Brazilian president has tested positive for COVID.
Isn't his name like Bolsonaro?
Bolsonaro, yes.
Bolsonaro,
So
yeah.
if anyone's caring. It seems like COVID is actually died down in this area compared to the rest of the United States. Seems to be flaring up everywhere.
I think Mass is number 4 on the lowest cases, or we're doing the 4th best out of everyone.
Yeah, so for everyone that's complaining that people are restricted, it's actually not too bad, especially this area. Bristol County is probably the lowest in the state.
Yeah, you get used to it after a while.
You sure do. So 4th of July, what did you do, Zen?
4th of July, I went on over to a family party in Somerset, very nice area, Remington Drive, perfect scenery for the holiday right by the water. Then my favorite part was leaving, coming over the Somerset Bridge, and seeing all the Patriots around Fall River blowing up the skies with fireworks from the north end to Tiverton to the other side of the south end, all over the place.
Yeah, and these are
popping up
high-grade fireworks too, right? Not
yeah.
just the little kids throwing M80s or M60s or whatever snappers.
You had those too, but no, these were like actual like Boston, a step below Boston Pops-esque fireworks. You know what I mean?
I feel like this chair's a little low. Switch it up. Yeah, either that or I get a little big.
One or the other.
The COVID definitely did get me.
But no, the fireworks were awesome. It was definitely heartwarming to see because a lot of people were saying, oh, good, they should cancel the fireworks. And honestly, it's more than just a flashy show. It's a celebration of our freedoms that we have as Americans and kind of the principles on what the country was built upon, which is independence, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, much, much more.
Oh, yes, definitely. 100%.
I was very happy to see that people took it upon themselves to say, all right, if you're going to tell us we can't do this, then we're just going to go ahead and do it anyway to showcase what we're all here for, which is to live free or die. So
that's exactly it. Also, we have Mayor Paul Coogan who's showed up. We're going to bring him in with Laura.
Yes.
You'll be glad to know that I got here about 15 minutes early and Lysol the whole place down. Wiped down all the mics and everything. So come join us.
Come on in.
Got an extra 10 minutes in his schedule to come see us today.
Are we wearing these?
You can wear them. You don't have to wear the masks.
Okay,
I don't
good.
care.
All right, well, you know what?
We've all been tested.
I'll sit on the end.
You'll sit on the end.
Yeah, I'd shake your hand, but I don't want you to get stone drunk or COVID-19.
We'll all get infected.
I was nervous today that this was going to be like an intervention.
No.
And so I said, I hope Laura's not, Laura would look at it as doing me a favor probably. But
Not for you. I would never surprise you like that. I would just tell you.
right, we'll have that scheduled.
Yeah.
But Mayor, we're in probably the best part of the state as far as COVID. Lowest, right?
Well, today again, we were very fortunate. First of all, are we on now, Jeff?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you inviting me back.
Yeah, glad to have you back.
No
I'm
problem.
glad I'm here. Today again, we no fatalities.
Nice.
We went up 3 positive cases. We've been in a very good position for, I want to say, 2 or 3 weeks. And when you look at numbers like that and you figure what we've done over the last 2 or 3 weeks, we're running around 1,600 and something positives. Most of those are cleared. So I got to believe, right now we're chugging along in a very good spot. But we saw what happened down south, so we won't count our chickens before they hatch.
No, especially with all the get-togethers over the weekend, it might be a little concerning.
Yeah.
I happened to go Sunday up to the bottom of New Hampshire, and we went through Middlesex County, and that was one of the counties that got hit the worst. And I said, roll your windows up because the Lowell Connect is right there. And you look out and they're playing basketball. And I think the last time I was up that way was when we were in the middle of it. And we just went to pick up one of my daughter's friends, and they were out playing basketball, doing everything that people were told not to do. And that's why those numbers spiked so high. It seems like now the rest of the country is getting hit with it.
Yeah, and basketball is one of the sore spots. I'd love to have the courts up for the kids, but I mean, somebody sent me a message yesterday, look at Quincy. So I looked at Quincy, and it said one person per hoop. And I'm saying that'll last about 3/100ths of a second
not
in
gonna
Fall
happen.
River. That's
No,
not happening.
that's not
So
happening.
we'll sit a little bit longer. I did call Lieutenant Governor last week specifically about basketball, and she said, we're working on it, Paul, and football too. I said, well, I'm not concerned about football. Basketball is my where we want to go. So hopefully we'll hear something this week.
Right. That's like when I was a kid, that's like free entertainment. You
Yep.
get the ball and go down there. You don't need any money.
Yeah.
You gotta do something for these kids. They
Oh, I
need
think so.
something.
God
It's,
bless us.
it's
I feel bad.
I
do.
know.
I wish we had it up right now.
Can we do as baseball? Is we Little League? Are we doing that?
Well,
yet?
they're trying to get some little leagues going. I know there's a few petitions coming up for the park board and to get some fields going, and that's kind of a distance thing. But again, you know, they're sharing a ball and a bat, and
Yeah, one guy spits on the
Yeah.
ball,
Yeah,
throws it
yeah,
to
that's-
double play. Now you
You
got three
just not-
people
don't
involved.
Put your hands in your mouth.
Then they throw it around the field.
Yeah.
I guess it's for the best. Obviously, I know you'd prefer to have basketball courts open because it would give kids a lot other things to do besides blowing up firecrackers.
What a show!
So 6
Fourth of
months
July.
in, it seems like it's been longer. 6 months in, and it's been kind of weird because in the last maybe 7 or 8 years, you're probably the least confrontational. What am I looking to say? The least talked about mayor so far. No
Controversial.
controversial.
Yeah,
Controversial, yeah.
that's a positive in Fall River, Jeff.
Yeah, it's almost strange. And what else I wanted to ask was how strange is it going from January and February to becoming the mayor to then having an empty city hall for the most part?
Correct. It was something. I said to someone at one of these interviews, I said, no one ever asked us, what are you going to do if there's a pandemic when you're out campaigning?
Right, yeah.
I mean, they asked about streets and jobs and everything, but this has been eye-opening, and I did get some comfort in talking to the mayor of New Bedford. He's been there 8 years, and he said the same thing. I said, John, what is this like for you over there? And he said, Paul, it's 90% of my day, and that's what we were working on. It took time for everything. City Hall was empty, but the phones were hot, and it was always something. We had to make sure we stayed on top of things. We were coordinating with local companies that were making masks, that were trying to get some PP going. Hand sanitizer, we had a company down on Slade Street making it, and we were literally put it in the trunk of the car and run it around to the nursing homes, trying to get people to just settle down, and that's where we put a lot of our effort was into the nursing homes. But it was probably too little, too late. We got overrun there, regretfully, but that was our hot spot.
Yeah, I mean, some say that's to be expected annually. I lost my father last year to some type of lung disorder. This year would have been COVID. They would have called it. So who knows how many of those numbers are actually COVID related because the flus went down. But it seems like it's safer for me, except for the fact that I gained about COVID-19 times 2 pounds, and I can barely fit into. I went to put some jeans on, and I couldn't even get close. I told my wife.
You get jeggings.
She said,
Jeggings,
she's
yeah.
not. No, she's not getting me new jeans. She's not getting me new jeans. She's getting me. She just wants me to start walking and be a little bit healthier. But it was tough to do. It was weird. It was the weirdest time of my life where every day, usually working 60, 70 hours a week, you're out and about and doing things. And then it was just like every day we'd get up, go for a ride, try not to touch anyone, try not to talk to anyone, restricted to like Subway. I think we ate Subway probably 40 times.
Yeah,
It was all the ice cream that got me afterwards.
yeah, it was really something, and what got me through the whole thing was the cooperation from the people in the city. They really, I thought it was going to be much worse than it was, but people, by and large, did what they had to do. My heart goes out to the kids. You look at the kids at Durfee. I saw them leaving that day. They were all cheering and clapping. They thought it was an extended snow break. But
Right,
they
yeah.
never went back.
No.
And they're still in there now to this day trying to empty a locker, get a coat they left, look for stuff. And they don't see their friends. We are going to do a graduation for them, which I'm very, very happy to say. And it was just no way to end the year. No prom, no sitting around with your friends signing yearbooks. It was sad.
Yeah,
I
some
feel
say
bad
that
for all the
that's
high school
like a
seniors out
passing, a rite of
Yep,
passage,
it
and
is.
it also affected across the street from Durfee at Conley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diamond, all
They,
of them.
yeah, and they, I think in August they have some, but it's still never going to be the same.
No.
They're already officially graduated, so it's a shame that they miss out on all that. But at the same time, you got to look out for safety, and people are scared to death of COVID, especially when the story kept changing that it could thicken your blood, that you didn't have to be 70 years old. So who knows? I was very precautious. I was glad to get back to work. Even during the riots, when there were the little protests that were going on a couple of weeks ago, that was very taxing, I'm sure, on you because and
You've
me,
been
because
through
I
it all,
got
Paul. You really have. All in one shot.
yeah.
It was because Laura, because it was so bad when I was a kid that now I'm trying to work my way to heaven. So I have to do these
You made the
things
pearly
now.
gates.
Oh.
I have to say,
Well,
think you've
I think I
arrived.
better start to work on myself a little bit.
That's right. You got to work your way up because then when Judgment Day comes and they put me in there and they start asking me about things I did when I was 18 or 19, I'm going to just hang my head. But I'm going to say, but I was
Fast
the
forward.
mayor when
Yeah.
the protests were going on and COVID, and they'll say, okay, come on in, you can hang around here for a little
Well,
bit.
maybe you'll be able to say, but you let Leary in here 15 years ago.
If I see you on the other side of the clouds,
Yeah,
I'm
you'll
gonna
know
feel
you're
a lot
safe.
Better. Yeah, I'm going to feel a lot
Or not.
better.
Or
that's
not,
true.
depending
on which side you're on. That's a good point.
So so the protests, they went off, and I happened to drive down through the middle of County Street area, and all of a sudden I was driving an Explorer that day. So look at me, I mean, short hair, driving an Explorer. I was hoping they weren't going to drag me out of the car, although it would take quite a few of them. But it just seemed to, and it right down to Price Right. The police had their blockage up, and it fizzled away pretty quickly. It was handled quite well, I would say.
I thought the Fall River PD did a great job.
Yeah, excellent.
They were on top of it. I was also at all three of those protests. I made sure I stayed right there as long as I could. But when it got a little hairy at the end of the Lafayette Park one, most of the kids left when we told them that this should wrap up. But there was a few people and.
The kid from Falmouth got arrested. They weren't even from around here.
No, and the one
Falmouth, too.
Yeah.
Real tough.
Right.
So we got through it okay. It was definitely eye-opening. I was glad to see a lot of the kids from Durfee there. And I want to say it was 98% peaceful. And
Yeah.
They made their points, and they had good points. And we still have a little group we're working with now to get some information out to the community, and we'll stay on it.
You got a new chief, a fairly new mayor, and a pandemic and a riot and everything going on. I don't know how you did it. I'd have to have a keg of Jim Beam on the 6th floor. Speaking of me, how are we doing, Miss Washington? You are the head of Stepping Stone, right?
Well, the addiction medicine clinic out in Bedford, yeah.
So how's that going around here, the overdoses? That seems to not
It's
many
not
people.
good.
No?
No bueno. No, it's not good. Everybody's routine has been cut. They can't go to meetings. They can't work, and so people are very depressed.
Yes.
So you see a lot more people drinking, a lot more people relapsing. I was just dealing with that in the clinic today. So it's really sad to try to get people, and then appointments for a long time or on the phone or telepsych. So getting people back into routines and getting outside. That's why I'm so for as much outdoor stuff as we can do. And get
Right,
back into
yeah.
Because
You don't think about the little things like that, but yeah, then all of a sudden you're getting the money pumped in, and the overdoses are going out, and the Narcan, are they Narcanning or are they?
yeah, well, I'll tell you what, the drug dealers are not going on quarantine, so you have their business is booming, and people are just depressed. And besides, we focus a lot on overdoses and opiates, but I'll tell you what, big problem is people are drinking. People that normally wouldn't have issues with drinking, they're stuck inside. Everything's closed except the liquor store, right? So for months, like, you can't do anything. You can't shop, but you can go to the liquor store. So what was happening? People were drinking. They're depressed. They have nobody to talk to, nowhere to go. So you know, we're dealing with the wreckage of that, and more people.
Well, it's so far. It's the first 6 months of this year have been a lot better than I expected when this first started in March. So I'm starting to think the outlook's going to be good. Business has been booming, and the numbers are going down. So we appreciate you guys finding the time to come visit us today. The phone's ringing off the hook. I'm sure you want to take a few phone calls, but you don't have time today. And thanks for coming by.
Thank you
Nice
so
to see you,
much.
and
Appreciate you letting us, Jeff.
keep
Thank
up the good work.
We'll try. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good one, guys.
Goodbye.
Okay. So social distancing, drink alcohol, right? Is that keeping the numbers down too? All right. There's Laura and Mayor Coogan.
Absolutely.
Somebody is multiple
Blowing up the
they-
phone. Yeah.
we got a. I don't know that number though.
I think they called last show.
Yeah, somebody's really dying. All right, so yeah, we're getting some. You can't really hear the mayor and Laura's mic. We're too far away. It's tough with these headphones, but we'll take some calls now. But it's tough when we started, like, we do everything half-assed around here. We had the microphones too far away. So the numbers are good. You're feeling good about it, right? I mean, I hate to wear this mask. I just got my hair cut and I had to wear it for that. But besides that, I can't breathe in it.
It's tough. You know, people are in the comments right now talking about how we're not social distancing and stuff. You see how big this room is?
Yeah. Do you see how big I am?
Yeah.
I'm like the size of Forever.
We're not like the typical 5'5", 5'6" Portuguese guys. You gotta look at it from scale. You know, we're a decent size, so.
But
Just
yeah,
'cause we take up a little bit of the room doesn't mean that the room itself isn't big.
right. And nobody comes near me on a daily basis, so I know I'm probably clean. But hey, you know
Of
what?
course.
If we die tonight, then
Hey, we lived a good life so far, right?
yeah. So we might as well have a few drinks. What else did I want to get into? Number 45. The mayor's the 45th mayor of Forever, as is the great late Donald Trump. Everyone's trying to make him the great late Trump. What do you think about Kanye now?
Kanye. I think Kanye is going to secure the black vote and free throw it to Trump.
But how does that actually work? Because the Electoral College, you have to get like 270 votes, right? And if like it can't be a three-way race, right? Because
Well, you have Joe Jorgensen too, so it's kind of like a four-way right now. If you consider Kanye to be a viable candidate, which you know he may surprise everyone.
he could forever all your life.
Hey, what happened, Jeff? The mayor left?
The mayor was concerned, David, about your leg.
Oh, yeah, right.
So tell us what happened with your leg. No, we only had the mayor scheduled for 15.
What happened was I was cleaning my son's room and I ended up whacking the side of the bed, and I thought it wasn't gonna bubble up, but it did. And I went down to primary care, and they gave me some antibiotics for it. And so that way it doesn't swell up anymore. That way my leg doesn't get worse.
Right. So they put you on bed rest. They put you on bed rest.
Well, just to keep my feet up a little bit, for a little bit, so that way you get the fluids,
Now, David,
up,
I gotta ask you this. You were out this weekend holding a Trump sign in the middle of the Fall River. That's kind of dangerous, no?
No, not for me. I don't care.
There was an angry mob that was marching. Well, I don't know if they were angry, but
If there's an angry mob, well, I guess I got to deal with it, right?
yeah. Well, what would you do if, say, 20 of them came up to you,
What would
Yeah.
I do?
told you drop
just
that
have
flag?
I would just have to fight, man. That's all.
You would fight
for the
him?
country, right?
Fight him off.
Or fight to the death?
Why don't you get a gun, David?
Who says he
I'll
doesn't?
tell you one thing, man. I'm going to go back out there and I'm going to hold that Trump sign again, that flag again.
Watch out for your leg, though.
You know something? Hey, I like Donald Trump, okay? You know something? Donald Trump is a great guy. He's a great leader. and he'll be in New England.
Saturday in New Hampshire.
Saturday, yeah.
You taking the bus
He'll
up
be in
there?
New England.
You want to head
I
up?
don't know. I don't have a ride up there, but I mean, I don't have money for tickets.
Tickets are free, David.
Yeah, they're
I'll probably
free.
see him live.
You just gotta you gotta go to the website, type in your info, your phone number, and sign up for the amount of tickets.
I gotta ask Zen a question. I haven't asked him a question in a long time. I gotta ask him a question.
What's
hey
up?
Zen, what do you think about Charlie Baker being sued in Superior Court?
Charlie
Superior
Baker
Court.
being sued in Superior Court. Is he being
Ron versus Charlie Baker.
is he being sued for the gun thing, or is he being sued for the mask restrictions on businesses?
He's actually being sued for all kinds of things. You know, people losing money from their business and all.
Is he getting sued for what happened on the airplane with his son? Wasn't that Charlie Baker?
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that part.
I don't know. I think he got drunk and grabbed
No,
someone.
but I'm sure that he's well, there's a lot of business people suing him. I'm trying to think. There's another guy is suing him. He wants this order to be lifted because he believes that that there ain't no COVID. Okay. Nobody's talking about this no more. This is all a hoax. Nobody's talking about this.
Now
no
we're
more.
back to Pizzagate and pedophiles. All right, David. Hey, we got a busy show. We just got to wrap up. So thanks for calling in, and we'll talk to you next
Yeah,
week.
no problem.
Thank you, David.
Media
Take care.
mayhem
Bye,
moment. Bye.
Media mayhem moment.
He's got he's.
Something new every week.
I don't know if he's a Republican, a Democrat, or what is he? I know he's got the Trump sign. He had the Trump sign out, and that was pretty ballsy of him.
He's an independent.
And he doesn't really care what's going to happen to him. I think he's fearless. So good for
But
you,
then again,
David.
who's really going to go up to David and hit him? I mean, you have a fucking 5-minute conversation with this guy, and he's going to break you down to your lowest point and educate you. David Mead's he's an icon.
He is. He is full of his icon. I think, and I heard rumors that he was going to run for mayor next year. But
I'd vote for him.
Possible.
I'd vote Mead.
would you?
Yeah.
A Mead
In
ticket.
the primary.
Oh,
Oh,
did I just hang up on my buddy?
I think so.
Yep, we got another call in there, and we're going to go back to Larry. This is the best. The feed in. This is from Apocalypse Now.
Hey, man.
What's happening?
I'm so sorry. If the mayor's still hanging around, whatever, tell him whatever respect he's got in mind for having to put up the shit he's got to deal with right now.
Yeah, no, we only had him for about 10, 15 minutes. We were squeezing him in. I was trying to work, and I wanted it to either start or finish, but
Yeah.
just the timing of me. You know what time I got to be at certain places. I'm a busy guy, and
Yeah, absolutely.
if I can't have that snifter full of beam by 5:30, then we got problems.
Yeah.
So,
I know. Well, hey, man, speaking of problems, that's what, hopefully he understands what everybody else should out there is there's certain ways and means that are being implemented right now. And whether you're a cop or a politician, I don't envy those people right now because you've got Antifa, as we talked about before, Antifa and obviously BLM that are employing literally subversive terrorist attacks
yep.
against these people, and whether you could be the most right-wing mayor on the planet and you're going to get slammed no matter what. I don't know anything about the mayor you just had on, but I honestly, even if he was left-wing, I feel bad for him because these people are using our system to their advantage, which is, it's the way things are in the world, man. Like the girl in Olympia, a handful of people tied up. A good portion, you figure 12 cops out of the Olympia Police Department.
Yep.
She tied them up for 2 hours, okay, with her psychological bullshit and stuff like that.
Oh, the Antifa, the crazy girl that was sitting in the car.
Yeah. She and the whole point of it, she got nothing else better to do. She spent 2 hours whatever, however long, I forgot how long on, but it was basically, let's say, around an hour and a half. She tied up, 12 cops.
Yep.
With her BS.
Yes.
And it basically, she, probably didn't know what was going to happen other than, she tried to get a guy nailed. So just to shut her up, they arrest an innocent man. Okay, which you see at the very end when you skip.
I skipped through. What'd they charge him with?
Assault, because spitting. She said she spit on him.
Oh.
And in Washington State, that's an assault. Spitting. You know how many cops get spit on in a day?
Well,
And
Yeah.
I don't know if you're out west now, but Massachusetts just passed this reform shift and build, which is pretty much a kick in the balls to the police.
what happened?
Well, they're tying their hands. I guess now resisting arrest isn't an arrestable offense.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, so you can resist arrest.
Citizens can interfere in police duties and shit if they see something that the citizen deems as unnecessary use of force or something like that. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. As if the cops' jobs weren't
Did you guys
dangerous
suddenly
enough.
moved to New York or something like that? Because first you got no bail release. Now you got this. What is that like AIDS or something like that? It's like spreading up to Massachusetts.
I have no idea, but it's like nothing in Massachusetts. In fact, the last interaction I remember in Massachusetts was what was that officer's name?
Chestnut. Michael Chestnut
Michael
from
Chestnut.
Weymouth, Mass.
Like the perp hit him over the head or threw a rock
Yeah,
off
you
his
told
head.
me about the guy that got killed. Yeah, with the rock. Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah,
And now this happens after that.
yeah.
Man.
I mean, nothing even happened in Massachusetts, and they're trying to get this reformed because they just want the votes. And
It's not votes, man. It's violence. Violence is what's changing the course of our country.
Divide and conquer.
who's behind all this? Who's the evil genius, the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain?
I don't know, man. That's the biggest thing. You got BLM, okay, which you know I sincerely believe you got BLM, but then you got these subgroups like the other one. Look, I gotta admit, you know, I think I told you before. You're gonna think I'm crazy, and I think I told you this. Like I said, Malcolm X. I understand him, okay, but I understand him in the same bracket as I understand Ho Chi Minh. I understand the same bracket Mao Zedong, Che Guevara.
Yeah,
Their plans were the same socialist plan where you use violence to overthrow the government. Okay, and I know overthrow sounds very serious. Okay, but people, when you watch, I can't explain it. There's a ton of videos of Antifa, you know, trolling and everything like that and stuff. When you watch that video, I know it's kind of long, but you see exactly, somebody got on film exactly what's happening in this country right now, which is they're using trolling to get somebody to get out there and punch them in the face, do whatever
To
they
react,
have to, or
yeah.
nothing,
yeah.
or if they can't get something to happen, they just sit there and bitch and whine until an innocent man gets arrested. Okay, then you have the other chick like in Detroit who was you saw the black girl was literally, dude, you could see a million miles away. She was intimidating that poor white the pregnant girl that was just trying to get in her car and leave. It was at the Jimmy John's or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Man, and then she, rightfully so, her old man didn't do anything. She's pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay, you can see she's very pregnant. So she pulls a gun on the lady that was antagonizing in the first place. Okay.
Yeah.
I honestly don't fault. I mean, if my old man isn't going to stand up for me, and I'm pregnant,
Right.
and this bitch is trying to stop me and hit my car and everything like that, stuff like she was trying to do.
Yeah. Motherly instinct.
But did you see the lady that was trying to antagonize the whole thing? The pregnant lady pulled a gun. The black lady did not flinch a second, which tells me she was trained in this. She has no fear whatsoever.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She was there
But
to.
But again, it was the lady that was pregnant. What is she going to do? She's using it as a deterrent. She's not going to shoot her. That was pretty much obvious. The second she drew, you could tell she wasn't. And the black girl knew it too. But those are the things that are being used as antagonism to make us afraid. They use that violence and that subtle violence. To think, okay, well, God, am I going to go to jail over this person harassing me and stuff like that? Look at what happened with Bubba Smollett with that.
The noose, the fake.
Yeah, he gets everybody behind him, and it's another Jesse Smollett thing where he fakes a noose,
Yeah.
Everybody gets behind him, does it, which is whatever. The biggest thing, though, dude, I know this sounds really stupid, but is when it affects me on a personal level, when which is what I want to tell your mayor. For me, I worked a long time in Africa.
Yeah.
All from all through Central Africa. And there was these stories. I forgot if I told you that, but there was these stories I used to hear, and they were truly. I was interested. They were stories in the villages and like that people told of morality and everything like that and stuff. You got no fucking TV or newspapers there. So all they got is word of mouth. Okay. And the story started like something just sounded familiar about them, and I couldn't put my finger on it. This is 20 years ago. So the other day, that's why I said the other day. Here comes Disney. Who suppressed? They did an awesome movie, Song of the South. Okay.
Yeah.
They did an awesome movie, okay, but because they didn't pay kickbacks to the NAACP, and you can all read this, it's online, because Disney did not pay kickbacks to, it was a handful of black politicians. Like there was a guy in Harlem, NAACP, whatever. Okay, this is back in, I think it was 1948 or whatever, when the movie first came out. Because Disney didn't pay kickbacks to them, because Song of the South is based on morality black stories, they protested it. Okay,
Yeah.
man, if you heard these stories, but for me, hearing these stories in their original basis in Africa, you would think they would want to put these. I would vote a million times to put these stories in school books just to teach all kids morality. This is when you're in rough times. This is what you do here. When
Well,
things are
Larry,
just with you.
part of that new bill that they passed, they want before you actually are sworn in as a law enforcement officer, you have to go through an educational class on what happened 200 years ago with slavery.
Yeah.
And I mean, why not go back to the dinosaurs? What would we have done,
But
if the dinosaurs come back?
Now when your kid can go to college, you have to take you know me. I told you about before, man. I had to pay for I forgot what you call them. Basically, they have a very politically correct name for them, but basically, I had to pay for what the heck was it? I forgot what to tell you. It was something about the women's rights classes or women's empowerment classes or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's a requirement to get a university diploma. That stupid shit is a requirement that I have to pay for, or students have to take out loans for, and whoever pays for it, the universities are required for their degree, for any student's degree, you have to pay for a I'm so sorry, I forgot the name, but I think you know what I'm talking about. It's women's studies. That's what it was. The one you have a choice of three: black studies, women's studies, and something else. Okay, why? Why do I have to pay? Why is that a requirement? If I wanted to learn about that, or if I want my kid to learn about that, fine. I'll pay for it. But nobody's going to, so they make it a requirement, just like you said, the cops do. They make it a requirement.
Yeah, and also, so last night, Don Lemon on CNN, because that's the other half of the problem is CNN is just reporting what they want. And Terry Crews brought up a good point. He said, you know what? He said, everyone's worried about Black Lives Matter, but they're killing each other at a record number, and white policemen that are killing blacks is very rare. So, and he said that's not the point of Black Lives Matter. It's about police violence against black people. It's not the black on black. It's not the little girl that died in Chicago, Atlanta. It's just ridiculous. Now, what are your thoughts about to switch it up a little bit before I cut you off? What about this girl up in New Hampshire? What's going to happen?
Which one's that?
Maxwell, Epstein's girl.
Oh, I don't know, man.
I wish it was out already.
Look what they got away with Epstein. He got hung, and nobody saw nothing.
Yeah.
And now I keep seeing that. She's got a lot of. Obviously she knows the same people that.
Sarah just joined us.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize.
Sarah, you totally missed. I was trying to throw an attack, and you know what? Tell Jeff to show you the video I showed him of the Antifa girl, because the very next video after that
I'm sure
is Antifa people being paid. Sarah, these are Antifa people paying off people to cause damage.
Absolutely,
it's the very next video after
they went out with a big manila envelope full of money, and they were giving people money to go cause trouble.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Send me that link.
Yep.
Sarah, this is better. This one, he's handing out money to these basically people rolling up. Okay, and he tells the people, okay, go hit that place. Go hit that place over there. Go hit that place over there. It's the very next video.
It's an organized.
It's all organized, absolutely.
Wow.
There's no question
it's
about
totally
it.
organized. But now
you think that's a grassroots thing that people are just destroying things? Or that's just the way society is?
No.
Yeah.
No. But at the same time, Sarah, this is stuff that's been happening since time immemorial. This is stuff from Malcolm X.
Saul Alinsky's every takeover. This is the avenue to get
Saul Alinsky, that dude's a hack.
Marx, it's all the same kind of tactics to take over.
No, Sarah, it's different. This is different. This is violence. Okay, you hear Sarah?
Yeah.
You have to understand. Okay, you got Saul Alinsky, you got Martin Luther King. Those people. They preach a good game, something like that, but the only thing that changes anything is violence. Okay, and you got people like Malcolm X that people are following by. When you've got Mao Zedong, when you've got Che Guevara and something like that, which is exactly the tactics these people are using That's violence, Sarah. This
Yeah,
is
but
what changes the country.
that's in the Solinsky rules for radicals and stuff. That hostile takeover. That's all part of that leftist totalitarianism ideology. That's and it manifests itself whatever kind of ism or ix you want to call it. But it comes down to the fundamental principles of divide and conquer, hostile takeover.
Does this all come to an end after the election?
I hope so. I think it depends.
I know they're literally using violence and subtle tactics to change this country before the election comes around.
Unbelievable. Well, nice hearing from you, brother. Stay safe out there.
Thanks, bro. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
See ya.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that he was only going to be here for 10 minutes, or I would have just came and came in after. But I only live 2 minutes down the street, so when I figured he went off air at 4:20, I was like,
yeah,
oh, maybe I'll just drive over there and just join them, you know?
Yeah, no, we had a small window, and it was actually they were supposed to be calling in, and then this morning when I saw it, Laura said we're just going to come by the studio around 4:15.
I wasn't under the impression it was only going to be like a 10-minute thing. I thought it was going to be like half the show or the whole show.
And
I wasn't really sure. I haven't been, I've been kind of, I've been like a hermit these last couple days. So
he gets out at 4, so it can be 5 minutes, it can be 25 minutes, it can be you never know with Fall River traffic.
Right.
Fall River Roy, you're live.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great.
Listen, your previous caller wants to know who's the guy behind the curtain calling all the shots.
No, I wanted to know that. Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. He lives about 2 blocks from the White House. He's never left Washington, and he's the guy that's calling all the shots. And Sarah knows who he is.
George Soros?
No, George Soros don't live around here.
No.
Barack Obama.
Oh, Barack Obama. You know something? He did buy a house, a big mansion with a wall on it, right? Like 2 blocks from the White House. You're right, he did. He did, and they called that's his shadow government that he set up right before Trump came in. Yeah,
you have to understand something. People don't talk about this, but when he was in office, there were numerous lawsuits that the DOJ filed against all these banks, these big corporations, Wells Fargo, Chase Bank. They raked in millions in these settlements.
Yes.
None of that money, none of it went back to the taxpayers or the people affected in these mortgage lawsuits.
It went to bonuses and raises.
All of it went back. Yeah. All of it went to groups like Organizing for Action, which is OFA, which is a spinoff of Acorn. Others went to groups like BLM. It went to groups like Antifa. All you see that's going on right now, he is the man calling the shots behind the scenes. If you've recently seen some of Joe Biden's tweets, Joe Biden is mimicking the stuff that's come out of Obama's mouth about transforming America. He is behind all of this.
Obama was the Manchurian Candidate. I don't know if anybody ever saw that movie, The Manchurian Candidate, but that is Barack Obama to a T.
So let me get this straight now. So Obama comes along, and then Black Lives Matter comes along. So Obama, like when I was 24 back in the early 2000s, and they had someone was going to penetrate the White House and be an evil person, a Muslim, and blow up the United States. Now this is actually happening. That's unraveling right now.
Well, I think it has nothing to do with the Muslims. I mean, I think that's just another avenue that they brainwash people with. I think it's more of this the left-wing totalitarian agenda. This it's like the communist takeover. That's what it is.
Because that's what it started before Black Lives Matter.
Go look at Obama's history. This is a man who's aligned himself with people like Bill Ayers from the Weather Underground, a domestic terrorist. He has aligned himself with guys like Marshall Davis, who's a communist. You look at his history. This is a man who was at Columbia University. Taught and preached Solinsky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there
People
a connection?
Don't realize this.
Yeah. Is there a connection with this Pizzagate thing with Obama?
Of course. He was the one that was in the emails getting $65,000 worth of hot dogs to bring to the White House. And hot dog is like another term for male prostitute. You know, like little boy prostitute. And $65,000 worth of hot dogs, you can't even bring outside food into the White House. So nobody's been asked to explain that email. It just gets swept under the rug.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the people don't realize this. Valerie Jarrett, who is his advisor, who's pretty much the only person he's actually listened to, is living with him at that house. Why are you having someone who's rich? And she is rich, but she was a slumlord in Chicago for years.
Well, they say Valerie Jarrett was his a handler. That's who she was. That's the role that she played, like his handler.
Well, she's the voice. And then anybody who votes for Joe Biden you are going to get the third term of Obama. People don't realize this.
Wow.
Because Joe Biden is a dementia patient. Okay, he's a stooge.
Of course.
All right.
Of course, but a lot of Democratic voters, they're very uninformed and they vote by name recognition, and that's where they're pushing Joe Biden so bad because they know that most people will vote for the name and they have no idea what he's ever said or done.
It's a blind hate for Trump.
It is.
It's crazy.
So they're kind of just going with the popularity vote, the name recognition.
The Trump hate is fake.
Right.
It's fake.
Well, it's
But the reason they hate Trump so much
everything
is
else.
Trump got in the way. Trump got in the way of Hillary Clinton winning. Hillary Clinton winning 4 years ago would have been a continuance of the Obama policy of slowly turning America into a socialist, communist, Islamist shithole. That's basically
Well,
what
they're
this
all
is.
part of that same satanic elite Illuminati little structure. They're all part of that. You know, when they say that Hillary Clinton is more powerful than Barack Obama, they say she's like a high priestess witch in that whole Illuminati thing, that satanic thing. I mean, listen, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, I'm just, a lot of it doesn't make sense with what she's gotten away with, that's for sure.
She's got bigger problems because of Ghislaine Maxwell. People don't know this. Jeffrey Epstein was not the ringleader of all these pedophiles.
Of course not.
Epstein.
That's why he went down first, because he was probably the lowest man in the totem
Maxwell
pole.
is the real ringleader of this. That's why, I don't know if she's still alive, why she has all these videos.
Do you think they're going to
She's
kill her?
got all the dirt. She has all the dirt. She's not going to get killed. I'd be shocked if they kill her because I believe she's got a kill switch somewhere where if she dies, all this stuff gets released.
I
on the
think
internet.
that's probably accurate, yeah.
Wow.
And so, what do you think? Is she going to give everybody up, or is she just going to disappear? Like, a lot of the public is paying attention to this. How are they gonna? They can't sweep this under the rug. What do you think's going to happen, Barry?
The problem is the person prosecuting this case is from the SDNY is an Obama hack. So I don't know how this is going to play itself out. He's also tied to James Comey.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how this is going to play out. I believe that basically this is more about the Clintons in Hollywood than Trump. People keep putting pictures of Trump with Maxwell as. I've seen numerous affidavits from Epstein's workers, girls who worked for him, who have stated that Trump's never been on either property, the one in the island.
Right.
Or the compound in
No,
Mexico.
he hasn't. That's true. As the Clintons been on there 26 times, Hillary Clinton's been on there like 8 times, like Bill 26. I mean, I don't know how you can compare the two. You got 20-year-old pictures of him out at social functions, being nice and being buddy, and you try to compare that to the in-depth relationship that the Clintons had with him. I mean, Trump banned Epstein off all his properties way back when it was like over 20 years ago when he found out that Epstein solicited a teenage daughter of another patron, and he kicked him out of everywhere. And Trump was the only one who actually assisted in and participated in and helped out the first investigation into Epstein. And the prosecutor even came out and said that Donald Trump was the only person in that Hollywood group that cooperated with him during that investigation.
Well, sir, I don't know if you know this. Now, we know about Epstein Island, right?
Yeah.
There is an island adjacent to that property, and guess who owns it? Joe Biden.
Really? I knew that there was a little cluster of islands there, and I've heard things about other things, but I didn't know that he owned one of them. Yeah.
So
I look that up.
This is very interesting, and as people say it when it first came out, Pizzagate, I'll admit I sat back. I had Sarah talk about it.
Of course.
And since then, there's been so much evidence come forward that
I've been screaming it from the rooftops.
Yeah, that it's actually it's a big ring, and it's just weird. It's creepy.
And that is the main thing that compromises all these politicians is what can be worse than having sex with a kid? You know what I'm saying? What is worse to ruin your reputation? That's how they compromise.
That's
all
like
these people.
all
And that's
lives
why
matter to me except pedophiles.
are so powerful because that's what they're compromised with, and they know that they will do anything and say anything to try to hide that part of them. And that's why the pedophiles move. And Paul Joseph Watson does a great video called "Pedophiles Rule the World." Just look it up and just listen to what he has to say. It's only like 8 or 9 minutes, the video, and you can't argue with it. I mean, this is all documented fact. I mean, why are there so many pedophiles so high up in the power structure? I mean, doesn't that make anybody just take a step back and say, why?
Sarah, they're all tied to it. The Pelosi's are tied to it. The Pelosi's are tied to child trafficking in California.
They say that Nancy Pelosi has a pizza shop that has the Baphomet as the I forget what it's called. It's been I read so much stuff, but during when all this came out about Comet Ping Pong, I guess Nancy Pelosi has a pizza place and it's got a goat head, a Baphomet as the symbol of it. And,
wow.
No. That's pretty
What I'm talking
coincidental.
about is the Pelosi's, both her and her husband, have ties to nonprofits in California, which have direct influence on the child protection services in the state of California. And their headquarters are Modesto. That's supposedly where a lot of the child trafficking has gone on in Modesto, California.
Yes.
The Pelosi's have ties to that.
Yes.
So, and there was something about a lawsuit involving Pelosi's son and a woman. And I guess that the kid was taken away from the woman because, like I said, the Pelosi's are very powerful in California.
Well, they have to be, considering how powerful they are in government. You know that they got to be, way high up on the totem pole.
Unbelievable. I hope that this all breaks very soon. Barry, thanks for calling in. Good points as always.
See you, Barry.
It's sickening to think that these. I mean, it's just tough for me to comprehend that people
Can be that evil?
that run our country that are all like. I mean, you would think a pedophile like we had a call last week saying that how they want to talk to someone about their sins. They'd call 911 or the Samaritans, right?
Yeah, good Samaritans.
But like, so is this a secret network? And why wouldn't they hold it over each other's head?
What I don't understand, right, is that so I don't know if anybody saw the page that I shared, and it was like a page for pedophiles, and it had two little boys kissing right on the cover, like two 9-year-old boys kissing each other.
Yes.
And it took like a week before they got taken down.
I still saw it up yesterday.
Yeah,
I don't know. When I
I'm
looked
pretty
at
sure
my
it's still
newsfeed,
up.
it looked like it was this content has been removed. That's what it said.
You're talking about that I Love YouTube
Yes.
page?
Yes.
Or whatever? Yeah, that's fucked
And
up.
Nambo.
You're gonna tell
Fucked
me
up.
that now
What
they'll
the fuck?
remove a conservative page way faster than they can remove
Oh,
that.
instantly.
Of
And
course.
you're gonna tell me that the FBI that took down the Italian mafia, right, can't take down this network of pedophiles? I mean, you know why they don't take it down? Is because they're all running the shit. That's why. That's why it's
Forever
allowed
Raw,
to
you're
operate.
live.
Good afternoon.
What's
that
happening, Patrick?
It's not a Fall River Raw show unless I call it.
That's right.
No, I thought you were going to bring some hot dogs.
They're on vacation this week.
Oh, good. I
On
see.
vacation this week.
I was over in Daniel and Company getting my haircut, and I figured I'd run over and grab a couple, but since I packed on a bunch of pounds, I'm trying to watch my weight.
You and me both,
Yeah, I
Jeff.
got a spare tire too. I drove by your location in Westport yesterday morning. I haven't been by your Prestige in Westport in probably 6-7 months. And
Yesterday
I can say-
morning, was I out in a lot having a
like
drink?
8 o'clock in the morning.
Uh,
But I can say that I've been by the Prestige in Taunton and East Providence and now Westport through Grubhub and DoorDash. And I am amazed at how big Prestige car lots really are.
yeah, and
You guys
we
have a selection that is better than any dealer in the world.
we sold
You guys
off
must
probably a
have
third.
5,000 cars between the 3 lots.
Yeah, I don't know about 5,000, but probably
But I
about.
know one thing. I don't know how many you got, but I know one thing. If you're looking for a car and you go to any of the Prestige car lots and you can't find something you like, you need to buy a bicycle because they got everything over there.
Right, and
That's
if
an unsolicited commercial.
yes, I appreciate that. But there's also a rumor floating around that if you show up there on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday evening with a sleeve of Jim Beam, that anyone's walking out of there with a car, a
An
Camel,
approval,
or whatever.
a car,
Yeah, whatever you
plates,
want.
a detail.
Patrick, what's
Good
going
show
on?
today. Good show today. I see they're forcing the chairman and vice chairman out of the Park Commission so they can put that child molester thief, Joey De Silva, on there.
Oh, who's that?
He works for the Fall River Housing Authority, and of course nobody wants to work with him. That's why they put him out with the kids and they do the hot dogs and stuff.
Now, is that a wild accusation, or is that something you can back it up with?
I've been told. I didn't see it with my eyeballs, but I'll tell you, he does a lot of time privately with kids in closets.
Well, it's a red flag.
Wow,
You know, that's a red flag to me.
Absolutely.
sure it is.
But you know, they want to get rid of Mossy and Joe Schulenberg, who's been there for years, and now they want to put in the Joey and some other girl and Jeff. They posted last week that Jeff Sylvia was the chairman, and I picked right up on it. I said, "When did Jeff become the chairman? You haven't had a meeting, so you got an open meeting, Lauren." I sent an email to Jeff. No, I am not chairman. Don't want to be chairman. I will not take the chairmanship. I don't know who put that up, but that's wrong.
Yeah,
So I'm
well,
watching them like a hawk.
that's small potatoes, the pot
Tonight is
board.
Lisa Martelli's first meeting as a Swansea Water Commissioner, so we'll be listening to that meeting by telephone.
When is that happening?
That's at 6 o'clock, I believe.
Tonight? Can I watch it on like a Swansea page or something?
No, it's only on the phone. You have to go to SwanseaWaterDistrict.com and go to announcements because the town of Swansea doesn't even have any agendas posted on their website.
Oh,
There goes another complaint.
Oh, I'm just saying. Well, they like to keep people in the dark. Yeah.
Official posting on Swansea is the bulletin board, the old dilapidated bulletin board in back of their.
Okay, I'll have to try to find it.
Yeah, why don't they just buy water from Somerset?
Sarah, I'll text you the phone number.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, thanks.
All right, Patrick, as usual.
Anyway, good show, and
Thanks for calling in.
I will talk to you guys next
Later,
week.
Patrick.
Thanks,
Take it easy,
Patrick.
Patrick. Patrick is, I don't know how he does it. He keeps up on all the nooks and crannies of Somerset, Fall River.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
Westport,
he's,
Swansea.
He's got the scoop on everything.
If
man.
there's,
Yeah.
because there's nothing that could interest me less than a water department meeting.
Well, when you live in Swansea and your water's brown, it would probably be a little more important to you. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
it would. And you know, that's one of the things I didn't think about when I purchased my house was the well. And I don't know how I feel about that. I think I'm going to get a salt water, they have a salt thing for wells that
Oh yeah.
mixes the water.
Well, I mean, Swansea used to have good water, but ever since they did that desal plant, everything just got really messed up.
Like my wife will give Lulu and Benson water from the tap, and I'm like, that's not the
See, I buy
fucking
the- I
septic.
buy
Start
the-
giving them Poland Springs.
Yeah, I buy the British for my faucets. Like, you know what I mean? The big thing
Yeah.
that goes on there. I buy them for my faucets, and I find that they work.
How often do you have to clean them out?
Probably. Well, you change them. You open them up and you
Change
take the
the
filters
filter.
out. And I would say probably like a month. But I use a lot of water. You know
Every
what I
2
mean?
weeks we were pulling the filter out, and it was like black. It was,
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. That's why I just I mean, a lot of time I'll buy bottled water, or I'll filter it. I'll filter it through that. You know.
So yeah. So today's show was kind of confusing, like I said, the way we set it up, and so I'll take all the blame for that.
Well, I
because
wasn't feeling too good neither earlier.
Sarah was out sick.
Yeah.
Then Dallas was supposed to be here. Then he wasn't, and then I guess he's getting his vag checked at the gyno.
Yeah, but I'm sitting at home watching. I'm like, and then when they left so early, I was like, you know what? I could be there in 5 minutes. I'm not gonna do any makeup or whatever. I'll just go down there. And
Yeah,
just,
I told you.
I figured I didn't leave you guys hanging. I'll come in and say hi.
They were literally coming through just to give us an update and say
Yeah.
hello. I think that's Mayor Coogan's
But
first
that's good for ratings and stuff to have the mayor come on. Like that's cool, you know.
first
Yeah,
time out.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and Laura's a good person. She's a good friend.
Yeah, and she looks very familiar to me. Like I don't know if I don't know where I know her from, but I know her face.
Yeah,
Maybe just from Facebook.
maybe. Yeah, she's always around. She's low key, but she's out and about in the community. But it was nice to have them by. What else was I going to say? Next week, is it next week? Am I in Newport or the week after? The week after.
22nd.
22nd.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm going to be out for 2 weeks.
Well, as long as Jess is here, it'll be fine. I think with me, Jess, and Sean, right? And
Yeah,
Alice
no.
and, whatever. Like-
Listen, it is what it is. As long as I don't, like last time I went on vacation, I had to call you guys drunk.
Yeah.
You did.
I think that was when my father died,
But I'm
right?
sure-
Yeah, that was, yeah.
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 I'm sure you'll do that again.
I don't know. Because if I'm off, like that was different. My daughter was with us, so we
Yeah.
did day things a little bit. So
see.
I waited till later. So this is just me and my wife. So there's a good possibility by the time the show comes around, I could be snoozing a little bit.
Incoherent.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. That's so Lulu and Benson. What are we gonna ferret out with them? Maybe I'll take them with me, or maybe they'll come do the show too.
Yeah.
You can take him with you?
No.
No, I was gonna say. Really?
It's weird too because the last time this stuff happened, they kicked us out of Newport, and it was because of this COVID-19. I think we're the only people in the actual hotel right on the water, but you couldn't go anywhere. Nothing was open.
Yeah.
If you wanted food, Brick Alley Pub, the guy would come out with a bag, and you go back to the
What a
room.
waste of money though to sit in your hotel room. Like,
It was, but they did give us a night for August. I think I'm gonna gift it to my daughter for her graduation.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I was surprised to see you pop in. I thought Dallas was gonna pop in.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I was like, it was only like 20 past. you know,
Also,
I said, I'll just
Eric,
pop in.
we are also here at
Yeah.
Eric B Media.
Yeah.
Eric did splurge on a new system that would have allowed you to. He didn't try it out yet, but you could have been on here. We could have had the same setup here, and you could have just been like right on the end of Leary Avenue or on the.
Oh, like in a little block, like from my own, like
Yeah, like
Facebook?
Turtle
Like a
Boy does.
FaceTime, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that can happen in the future.
Yeah,
that
so
would have
that's-
been great for today.
That's one thing too. If anybody ever feels like being a guest on the show, hit us up. We can have you in remotely right through
Yeah, that's
FaceTime
pretty
if
cool.
we think it'll be
Imagine the look
beneficial.
on Paul Coogan's face if Sarah jumped up there and she starts talking about her $3 million in properties and the
Well,
bulky items and
that's
trash
there's a lot of
bags
things
and
going
all
on.
this shit.
And you know what? And everybody else gets all kind of breaks because of the pandemic. But you're cracking down on the landlords who are taking like some of the biggest losses. It's just wrong.
That's the Democrats across the country.
Democrats, I know, and yeah, and there is some questions that I would like to ask. You know, why Faust even still has a job? You know, I mean, the guy doesn't own any property, lives in Mattapoisett. How is he even qualified to be out there, you know, busting people's balls like that? It's not fair. It's not fair. Why don't you leave people alone? Mind your business. What they have in their backyard is none of your business. And you know, and if all the tenants getting all these breaks, why don't you f off and cut the landlords a break?
So what was that? Maybe 6 or 8 months ago, or maybe more. I looked and I saw a picture, and someone said, "Does anyone know who this guy is?" And once they said it was Faust, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's Faust." Mm-hmm. And what is he doing, like in people's backyards? What is the concern?
No, well, all right. So, out on June Street, right? Our second floor tenant is like a construction. He works in construction. Okay, so he's got like a lot of debris sometimes that he puts it like on the side of the shed or on the backyard. You know, a lot of his stuff from work and stuff. And then the city will go there and write my boyfriend up. Or like you know how much money he spends getting rid of TVs and mattresses. I mean it's like it's constant, you know. And now I guess there's a couch on one of the properties now that he's getting.
Ultimately, it's his responsibility, right?
Well, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know how you think you're gonna curb this problem when you're finding the guy who's not putting the stuff there. We tell them don't put it there. When they do put it there, we tell them get it out of there, and they yah us to death. And then it sits there for months and months and months until housing threatens us with fines. All right, so now we have to pay the $20 to get rid of all the stuff because they won't. And then what happens? One time he got rid of a mattress that was behind the apartment on Walnut Street. Right, he got rid of it, and then the lady complained and said she was going to sue him for her $200 mattress that he got rid of after it sat outside for months and months and months. Right, and he had to get it back and put it back in the backyard, and then he had to get rid of it again when she moved out. But that's the situation that you get caught in as a landlord.
It's tough, and I understand like there's these high end, like the Adams house is going to have $1,900 rents, because I had the opportunity to look at some apartments once, and I guess at $650 for a 3-bedroom was really lucky. But it's incredible. But in some of these like Snell Street area to Country Street areas, it's talking $800. The people damage and trash everything.
Well, it's awful. And then they blame us, screen your tenants better. Listen, we didn't bring this class of people, these misfits here. The city did when they sold us out for state aid. All right? And that's what they sold us out for. So we didn't bring these people here. We just have to try to do business with them now. And then what you do is you give them all the power and you hold us responsible for everything that they do as you tie our hands behind our backs and give us zero recourse to take any action to rectify anything.
Your average person, I would say, in Fall River, now...
right now, we can't even evict people.
You're probably on the healthier end and some of them, but these people maybe 5 years ago bought a house, second floor, third floor, they're getting $700 each. Right. They pitch in $600 towards the mortgage, and without that $1,400, they still work. Your average Portuguese person that does that, I know so many since I was a little kid that they buy a rental property, and that's how they end up with their retirement.
Well, that is a retirement. And you know what happened, though, with that owner-occupied that they claim that they want? Okay, I'm sorry, but you priced the average Joe right out of business. And you need all 3 rents, first of all, to make the house work. You need all 3 rents. Because people don't understand what it's like to get a loan for income property. Right, when you go for that loan, all right, that house has to make a 20% profit. And they factor in the empty apartments. They factor in the taxes, the water, all that stuff. And if that house
the new roof.
Right, that's right. The maintenance, all that stuff, that's all factored into like these estimates that they do. And if that house doesn't make a 20% profit, they will not give you the loan.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can just go into a house and to get an income property and to expect them to take a huge loss. You can't do that. And any average Joe that does qualify for one of these loans, and it does work out, one bad tenant, he'll lose that house. So as you say, you hate these outside investors. Those are the only people that are savvy enough to take the losses along the way to make these houses work. You know what I mean? That are savvy enough enough with their money that they can afford to take the losses. All right, and that's what you need is the savvy investors are the only ones that can make it work.
And you had a slumlord, one of the biggest slumlords, sitting on the floor of a city council.
Well,
for
that's
about
what I'm
20
saying.
out of
And
the last
they
30
love
years.
this slumlord narrative, but I don't know how these people are getting away with being slumlords unless you're politically connected, and you have some kind of pull where you're like skirting these inspections. I mean, average landlords, they get inspected by the city, housing, insurance companies. So and they'll rate you up over a bag of trash in the hallway. Right. So I don't know where these slumlords and how they're getting away with it, because the inspections that we have to go to are pretty grueling. I mean, we almost got canceled once because there was piles of leaves and that the tenant raped in the yard, and it was a fire hazard and just ridiculousness. So where are all these slumlords and how are they getting away with it? That's what I would like to know. And I guess unless you have political connections where you can get away with it, but I'll tell you right now, people like my boyfriend ain't getting away with nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know where this slumlord narrative comes from. It's the tenants, the slum tenants. These are the
nice
ones that
see
live
Sarah
like
come
pigs.
in today.
These are the ones that live like pigs. They're the ones that wreck the place and throw their garbage all over the place.
Yep.
And I don't know. This is an assisted living, dude. If you think I'm gonna walk and pick up after you like you're my child, then it's gonna be factored into the rent because you don't work for free and neither do we. So if I gotta come here and wipe your ass for you, it's gonna be you know you're gonna pay for it.
I've seen posts on Facebook of people that landlords that take pictures and put them up and like say, you know, Joe and Alyssa Schmidt left here and they left a mess, and then you'll see those same people in there threatening to sue them, and they will sue them, and they'll win. And they meanwhile didn't pay rent for 8 months. They let their mother die in their own fecal matter, and the dogs got fleas, gonorrhea, everything else. The cat's selling heroin out of the back door. It's like
the narrative is all wrong.
Mess.
And what that government city narrative does is they want to drive a wedge between the tenants and the landlords, right? So the tenants think that their landlord is extorting them when really it's the city extorting the landlord is what's actually happening. But the tenants they don't understand like what's actually going on because the city likes them nice and dumbed down, and they drive that wedge, and now the tenants think that they don't have to do nothing, that it's assisted living, and that the landlord works for them, and that's what they think. My boyfriend goes to some of these ladies, like these single women that live in his apartments, and they boss him around like he's their husband, with their honey-do list every time he comes over, as they're shorting him for the rent and doing nothing but bitching about everything.
Right, my lights don't work.
That's not
fucking buy a light bulb.
Right, exactly. They take the batteries out of the smoke detectors in the hallways. Who gets written up for that? We do. We can't be here 24/7 and monitor these people like they're our like toddler children. They have to be responsible for someone in the environment that they live in. This is a business contract between two adults. And if they're not holding up their end of the bargain, you can't hold me responsible. That's not going to fix anything. It's going to make it worse because now they're just emboldened and enabled.
What does that mean? Genital preferences are transphobic?
I guess. If you think a girl shouldn't have a penis, you're transphobic. I guess.
Genital preferences, like who you'd prefer to be with.
So as long as she identifies as a girl, you as a man should not have a problem if she has a penis.
All right, so let's go back.
You should still love her like a woman
because a lot of the old generations think that you shouldn't really commiserate the marriage or whatever the fuck it is. Commence the marriage until after the wedding. So let's say I'm out with the wife. Consummate.
There you go.
Wine. I'm a math genius, but my fucking English sucks.
Same.
So I go through this 2 years of dating, spending all sorts of money. We plan on having a baby as soon as, because we're not gonna have to. And then on the wedding night, we have this big glorious wedding out in Newport. Spend $50,000. I get back to the room. I go down and I see a big cock. What am I doing? If I say anything, I'm transphobic.
Apparently.
Am I stuck with it for the rest of my life?
That's right.
Am I trapped?
I mean, that is not a reasonable position. That's not a reasonable position to hold.
That seems.
That is absolutely absurd. And the fact that things have gotten that out of hands and that far from reality.
And we were just making fun of arranged marriages 15 years ago, and now we're talking about it's an arranged. You don't even know what you're getting. Mm-hmm. It's like when you go to the liquor store where Mark Dines always complaining he wants to buy the 3 nips for $1, but you got to figure out what's in it after you buy it. I'm not about that. I mean. That's a long life. If you're going to spend, you just swore that you'd spend the rest of your life, no matter what, with health or whatever. And
I think
no.
that at this point, most people should be able to be smart enough to see that there is an alternative agenda here, like an alternate political agenda that they're trying to impose on us as masses. And I think that we all know that it ain't right and ain't healthy. And I just wish more people would fight back against it, because maybe they wouldn't be getting away with so much if more people would put their foot down.
Well, I'll tell you, so the other day I was on my way to New Hampshire, and because of everywhere, the bathrooms are closed. Like sometimes I'll go in the women's room, so I'm glad. Like I'll just go in there and be like, yeah, I identify as a woman. You want me to sit down and piss?
Sure.
But so this place didn't have a bathroom, so I was like, fuck it, I identify as a squirrel, and I went behind the place and took a piss against the side of the building. I mean, but I'm still going to be the first one arrested over that.
Absolutely, and you can be charged with have to register as a sex offender if you get caught peeing behind a dumpster. I mean, you know what I mean? You're gonna
Right.
put people
Yeah,
that
all
were peed
crazy.
in behind a dumpster in the same category as somebody who like molests kids. I mean, you're gonna tell me that that's not like
This reform
Most people wouldn't look at that and say,
police
"What?"
shit today. So they want them to learn Black history and do all that. So what I've decided to do is from now on, once I have a few drinks and I decide I want to drive across town, I'm just gonna blackface and fuck you to the cops, and I'll just get a little fucking gun and point it at them and fuck you pigs, and I'll just do whatever the fuck I want, and they can't do nothing about it. They can't until I shoot one of them. Nobody can do anything about it. That's a great
you can't
world
even
where
defend yourself anymore now.
No.
Even if mobs of people show up to your house, you can't even defend your house or your property. They're gonna label you like you're the assaulter.
it's crazy.
It is crazy.
I hope that that the Florida police continue to do what they do. Obviously, there's not everyone's
Well,
perfect.
they was all over that Black Lives Matter stuff. They didn't let any of that get on hand. So
No, they did
kudos
it.
to
They
them.
did an
Yeah,
excellent job.
yeah.
A brand new chief, right outside of the Price Right. They had those little horses, those wooden horses, and they were standing there, and nobody wanted to go near them. I mean, there was like 50 of them deep, and those guys on the hot sweat, you know, it was crazy. And I was right in the thick of it. They were running by my car, and I was saying earlier, I don't know if you listened, but I was driving an Explorer that day because we were all heading somewhere. So it kind of looks like a cop car, and you know, if they look at me and try to pull me out, I mean, I've seen a few Florida police officers that are in the same shape as me.
Yeah.
I don't know how
the
foot pursuit would work, but yeah, I'm glad Sarah came in to add some fire to the show.
Sure. Well, you know, there's been a big thing about the landlords on Grew Up in Fall River today. A big post about that. There's gonna be like 1,000 comments on it now, and you know, all I do is try to give the other side of the perspective, and all they want to do is say you don't own property. Oh my God, we all know I don't own property, but my man of 10 years does, and I've been seeing 10 years of a first-hand experience, and I'm here defending his position, trying to give you the other side of the perspective. I don't know why it always has to matter, because it's not in my name. I can't argue. Like, I mean, I don't know.
People are
They
dumb.
just,
They'll find any reason to falsely
That's what I mean.
discredit
Like,
So
someone.
what
I'm
about-
trying to tell you, I've been screaming it for 6 years what the problems are, and all you want to do is call me names. And now everything I said is coming true, and I'm still the bad guy. So I don't know.
Hey, so on closing, I wanted to bring up this accusation that was going around Sunday of someone of rape. Now, what do you think should happen to someone that falsely? And I'm not saying that's the case.
You should serve the same sentence as he would if he was found guilty of rape. What the sentence of rape brings, that's what you should serve by falsely accusing somebody of that crime. Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, that's putting out on the platform with 40,000 people on a page.
Yep.
And then it turns out that you dated the person while they were separated from their wife, and the person provides proof that so he had an affair with you. But why are you saying that he's a rapist? And
Because they get away with it. That's why.
but you're going to ruin some guy's reputation,
Yes.
possibly
He lost his
ruin a
job, too.
business.
Yep.
Did he?
Yeah. Over it. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep, lost the job. But I mean, I can't really comment on that because I have a bunch of different perspectives from both sides of that situation. Plus, I know the people involved too.
Yeah.
So it's real fucked up. But yeah, he lost his job, and there's a lot of stuff coming to light, a lot of new stuff, a lot of old
Well,
stuff.
I think
so
a
who
lot
knows?
of stuff gets hyped up. Just
Well,
for the social,
you know, just for the fact
the
that
public platform.
one of the texts had the N-word in it, and whether they were trying to defend it, whether he was saying it playfully. I listened to the song on the way over here. I listen to rap once in a while, and I heard the N-word 15 times. I guess it's okay for certain people to say it and others not to. It's just so you can't type it, but this guy said in one of the text messages that's probably what cost him the job. And it's just a cancel culture, and it's getting way out of control. I don't know what to do about it besides
fight back against it, make fun of it, mock it the way it should be mocked.
And you know what? And it's true. I've been saying this all along. 1 or 2% of the people are actually have the other 90% of the people thinking that they're the
I
minority.
know, it's true.
And they're just, everyone's afraid to say something because they're going to get fired, they're going
Not
to get
me.
sued, they're going to have protests. No, goddamn right. Definitely not you. And if everyone just stands up at once and fights back, then we can make this country great again, like it was supposed to be, like it was.
Well, we can control the narrative. The silent majority doesn't control the narrative because they're bullied into silence by the loudmouth minority. Yeah, exactly.
African American telling Terry Crews, African American, that cutting them off, saying, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Black Lives Matter is about police abusing black people. Forget about the 10,000 times more black on black deaths. But whatever, it's everyone's
It's not about racism, it's about Marxism.
What about Morgan Freeman too? Morgan Freeman spoke out against their whole situation. Nobody's coming after him. Why is Terry Crews the butt of the fucking joke? When someone like Lil Wayne, Morgan Freeman, who else?
You know why? Because Morgan Freeman is unapologetic. Terry Crews will apologize and try to backtrack and let himself
He's a good
be bullied.
guy. Morgan Freeman doesn't give a fuck. Terry
That's
Crews
right. Morgan
is a good
Freeman
guy,
is
though.
unapologetic, and they can't bully him into a corner, and that's why they don't.
Well, let's hope the good guy wins, because it really sucks seeing what these people are doing. And Larry,
They
if
smell
you're
a
still
little blood in
listening,
the water, and they act like piranhas.
I want to see those payouts. I want to see the payouts made to Antifa for damaging things like that. And we just got to keep exposing it. But social media, if they're on the other side, the bad guy side, and it's just going to get deleted, and their pro propaganda against the normal person, the conservative, that gets to stay up, and that gets shared more. You notice it with we admin the pages. You can see what posts go, like the dumbest post. As long as it makes light and it's a little liberalish, it'll reach 10,000, 20,000 people. But if you put one thing up there that has anything to do with the truth and honesty and justice, it's 212 reaches. It doesn't reach anyone. Apparently, people just scroll by it. I don't know what counts as a view.
But that's not true, though, and I guarantee you that if things were done fairly,
Numbers
it would be
are
the other
skewed.
way around.
Yeah.
That's right. It's all manipulated
We've
to make
tested
the
it.
minority seem like they're majority, but it's not. It's not.
We've
It's the other
tested
way
it with
around.
certain posts. You'll have one on there that reached 3,000 or 30,000 people, and then the next one will reach 34. And it's like it always starts out slow, and then it picks right up.
Yeah.
Like the show last week, it started out slow, and then all of a sudden, once it was reviewed, then it took off. And that's what they're doing. They're controlling the content out there. There's nothing we can do about that. So slow, and then it'll take off. But we'll fight back.
There's a lot of other platforms now being made. Like we have Twitch, we have BitChute, there's Gab. So they're like doing all kind. But what's happening now is just the services, like the internet services that they use to have these platforms are being taken from them. Like they shut the whole site of Gab down because of some edit comment that was made. Or,
TikTok's getting taken down. That fucking cesspool. I'm so happy to hear that.
Oh really? So I don't know a lot about TikTok.
Well, TikTok, it's just
10 seconds of
radical leftist shithole.
Oh, I see.
But there is some good content on there, but it's a lot of biased bullshit that people.
I watched the YouTube video of this ex-Marine reviewing TikToks that are related to the Marines. It was pretty hysterical.
Yeah, there's a lot of cringy shit too up there, but because the company's based in China, the U.S. is worried about kind of like how the Huawei phones were like a Chinese surveillance device that the company might be saving info on U.S. citizens for whatever purpose. But that's why they're thinking about banning it. And honestly, I would support it. Fuck TikTok. Get that shit the fuck up out of here.
That's it.
I just think that when it comes to like having a platform, like I said, I don't know if it was last week, the week before, that they removed Stefan Molyneux, one of my favorite commentators on YouTube, and they just took his platform right away.
I heard about that. Yeah,
he's had that channel since 2006. He has 1 million followers. That's how he makes his bread and butter. He spent the last 15 years of his life building up his platform, that's his business. And they just, with a press of a button, they can take it all away from him.
So,
that's not right.
That's how people snap.
That little rape thing, as I followed along, I saw, because I moderate one of the pages, a report, and I just put, oh, cute, reporting. But then when I saw another thread, she was coaxing, like getting everybody, hey, everybody on my team, let's go report this page.
That's right.
And that's what happens. You get a bunch of
Listen, I don't care if you agree or not. You should be able to have your platform. I would
Yeah.
never.
You guys
I would
want
never
your
advocate
voice?
to take
Everyone
down
should have their
a
voice.
leftist platform. And as no matter how hateful or wrong I think what they're saying is, you know what? If they're so wrong, let people listen to it, and they can decide for themselves that they're wrong. And the only way you see this kind of censorship is when it comes to the truth. All right, when you see this mass censorship and people just going out of their way to get these people taken down, you know they're telling the truth, because that's the first casualty of war is always the truth. And don't be fooled. What's going on right now is an absolute ideological, political civil war is going on in this country.
Oh,
right
absolutely. Just without the muskets and without the it's just as physical. There's
This
just
is
as many
modern
people
warfare.
dying.
Just because it ain't the war of the 1700s doesn't mean that we're not at war.
Yeah,
But this is like what modern day warfare.
Dr. Fauci's like General Lee.
Yes. Yeah.
It's crazy. But that's about it for this week.
Alrighty.
We'll be back next week, and then the week after that, I'll probably be in rehab. Who knows?
Jeff, we'll be there for you, my
Alright,
friend.
guys. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Yeah.
Boom.